Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, all-pro record-breaking cornerback, and the last cornerback to intercept 50 interceptions during the 16-game season era. Saturday Night Vibes, baby. Let's turn up. Let's have a good time, man. Let's bring that energy. Y'all know y'all talk to me. I talk back, baby. Saturday Night Vibes, man. We're here to have a good time. Preseason football is finally done. The finales are being played as we speak. You know, and a few of them played this morning or played this afternoon. It's all done. Football is back, baby. College football is here. Had a few college football games, but we got to get into this, these last couple of preseason games, what do I see overall from the preseason? A few teams that I see, who I think may finish last in the divisions. I'll go through them real quick. And we're going to probably talk about this on Monday. Teams that I think may finish last in the division. You got the Miami Dolphins, obviously. It's between the Miami Dolphins and New England Patriots, of course. Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals defense is horrible. They don't have a chance without defense. Great offense. They can get it done on offense, but defense is horrible. The Dallas Cowboys is kind of tricky. The division is tough. You got Washington Commanders, you got the Philadelphia Eagles, and now you got the New York Giants. I think the New York Giants may give the Dallas Cowboys a run for their money. Arizona Cardinals may finish last in the division, along with the Chicago Bears. I'm not falling for the Caleb Williams hype train right now. He still has to prove it to me, but I'm not sure about the AFC South. The AFC South, excluding the Houston Texans, you got the Jaguars, Titans, and the Falcons. I don't know. I'm not too sure who will struggle the most from these teams. But, yeah, man, Saturday Night Vibes. These days keep coming back to back. I get a little confused. But I'm here. I'm here to put that work in. I'm here to give y'all the energy. Make sure y'all talking. I see y'all in the chat. Y'all turn up, man. Cleveland Browns, man. What do y'all think, man? Do y'all think Shedeur Sanders is being treated unfairly in this competition, man? Do you think the Cleveland Browns will be worth the damn this season? What do you think the final record will be for the Cleveland Browns? Got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. And I'm calling it now. Trouble in Cleveland. There will be trouble in Cleveland. And I could see problems happening in Cleveland. Game 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals. And if not, game 1, because the Bengals defense is so terrible, Joe Flacco may slip past the Cincinnati Bengals. If he slips past the Cincinnati Bengals, definitely game 2 against the Lions is going to be tough. They play really good defense, and Coach Dan Campbell know how to get them boys going out there and playing. Now, just watch. Just watch. I said it before. I'm saying it again. Joe Flacco, understand this. Joe Flacco 40-year-old abilities will cause problems as soon as this season starts. He's named the starter. He is the starter for the Cleveland Browns. And if I was the head coach, don't give me no goddamn 40-year-old quarterback to be my starter unless it's Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Don't give me no 40-year-old quarterback unless it's 2 guys on this earth. That's it. Other than that, a 40-year-old quarterback is going to play like a 40-year-old player. Simple as that. Slow, lazy, and ready to go to bed. You know when you're 40 years old and older, you're ready to go to bed. And Joe Flacco is out there playing till 11 o'clock. He's ready to go to bed. Flacco mechanics, man, they are what they are. He even said it himself during his press conference or him doing the interview. Joe Flacco mechanics are slow and lazy to me. There's a long winding up throw, right? And he can't get rid of that. That's etched in stone. And yeah. Whatever. Joe Flacco looked good out there. He completed most of his passes, and he looked damn good in the preseason game. But this is Joe Flacco, people. This is Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco done played in over 15 years of preseason games. I know, everybody know what to expect from Joe Flacco, especially when it's two linebackers lined up in the A and B gap trying to take his head off. That's when that slow laziness and ready to go to bed will come into play immediately for a 40-year-old quarterback like Joe Flacco. And that's just the honest truth. He is saying it himself in his interview in so many words. I am who I am, and you know what you're going to get from me. That's what his words are to the fan base and the team, etc. Now, I can't lie. Preseason was fun this season. And stressful at the same time, rooting and supporting Shedeur Sanders. Had a lot of fun. Now it's over with. It's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. Regular season football is here, and it's time to win your division, time to go to the playoffs and see who can win this Super Bowl, because it's only going to be one Super Bowl champion at the end of the season. Now, today was Shedeur Sanders' last shot to show he belongs higher on the depth chart before the regular season starts. And it was a little disappointing, but why was it disappointing? We are going to get into that. It was disappointing. But I don't think it was disappointing because of Shedeur Sanders. Maybe a few plays. Now, Dillon Gabriel took over in the second quarter and was done after that. I expected to see him come back in the third quarter after the halftime to see how he handles that. But for some reason, maybe he's already showed enough that he's did enough that he belongs as the backup quarterback. I don't know. Shedeur took over in the third quarter and finished the game, right? Now, when Dillon Gabriel took the field, his first throw was an elite throw. His first throw was an elite throw, I can't lie. How he scanned the field, looking the defense off to make that completion, that was an elite throw, for sure. That was damn good. On his second pass, Dillon Gabriel didn't recognize the blitz. But he smartly threw the football away. That was good too. That was good and bad. It was good that he threw the ball away, bad that he didn't recognize the blitz. Got to recognize the blitz and understand when to get the ball out quickly. A huge problem I can see for Dillon Gabriel moving forward is he anticipates his throws, like on that drop pass by Gage Larvidan towards the sideline on the out route in the second quarter. That anticipation on timing routes will lead to interceptions and pick sixes, like it almost did on one play and, in the game before. But you don't talk about the pass in the NFL. I can see this becoming a problem for for Dillon Gabriel in the future. Dillon Gabriel kind of reminds me of Tua Tagovailoa, just a slightly weaker arm. Same type of player, same attributes. They like to get the ball out quick. And if you've been rocking with me, I call Tua Tagovailoa Mr. 1-2-3. His timing is Mr. 1-2-3. The same thing with Dillon Gabriel. Kind of reminds me of Tua Tagovailoa, slightly weaker arm. And I'm not sure if Dillon Gabriel's skill set can make it in NFL when things get tough and rough out there. And the game is on the line. Tight defense. We've been scouting you for 10 games. We know exactly what you're going to do. We have all the tricks up our sleeve to throw at you. I'm not sure if Dillon Gabriel can handle that with his arm deficiencies and things like that, and how he needs to play it at that time. And timing is good. Don't get it twisted. But everything can't be that exact time. And sometimes you have to make the right adjustments and the right reads and manipulate the defense the correct way as a quarterback so you don't have to throw on time like Dillon Gabriel is trying to. Now, Dillon Gabriel arm strength will be a problem at the NFL level, at this next level. Passes over 20 yards, if y'all haven't noticed, for Dillon Gabriel are a challenge for him. And it's not no shot at him. I'm just telling the truth. I'm here to evaluate. I got to say what needs to be said. And this is why you don't see many deep passes from Dillon Gabriel. You don't see many play calls where it's deep passes for Dillon Gabriel, because that's where the weakness in his game is at. And when you do see Dillon Gabriel throw passes 20 yards plus, like that nice pass he threw to get the Browns to the 2-yard line. Understand, Dillon Gabriel is putting complete effort and strength into them throws. When he has to pass the ball 20 yards plus, he has to put a lot of effort and strength into those throws on the sideline, so on and so forth. That's just, everybody has a weakness in their game. That's just one weakness that Dillon Gabriel is dealing with. I'm not sure that he will ever be able to overcome that, but that's one weakness he's dealing with. Now, in the 2-minute drill, Dillon Gabriel started out with bad field position. And in the 2-minute drill, you're forced to throw the football. You have to run a 2-minute drill. You got to throw the football. So I was excited about that. I was hoping they get the ball back so he can run the 2-minute drill. And he did. He got that. He made some good throws, and he also made some questionable throws. Dillon Gabriel threw his first touchdown of his career in the preseason, whatever you want to call it. And what was so impressive about Dillon Gabriel throwing that first touchdown is he saw the trap cornerback. He saw the trap coverage and made the correct read to get a touchdown. That was damn impressive for sure. He pumped the ball because he saw the trap cornerback. He was about to throw it. Had a lot of patience, slightly reset his throwing motion, and made the correct read. That was damn awesome. I can't lie. Nothing's biased over here. Because that would have led into him throwing another pick six. But I guess you live and learn. That's what it's about. Now, to me, if this was a competition, if this was a fair competition between Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur would have had a chance to run that 2-minute drill, but he didn't. We're going to talk about it. Shedeur Sanders would have had a chance to run the 2-minute drill. Why didn't he? Makes no sense. But all in all, Dillon Gabriel, to me, is a quarterback that needs to play with timing and quick rhythm because the lack of arm strength. It's imperative that he plays with that quick rhythm and timing because of that lack of arm strength. And I can also see consistency being a problem for Dillon Gabriel when there's tight coverage on the receivers. And like I said, things get rough and teams know your weakness and starts throwing blitzes left and right. You know, delayed blitzes, zone blitzes, you know, cover zero blitzes, things like that. You understand? I think this is where Dillon Gabriel will have to grow immediately and learn. Also, turnovers. Turnovers will come into play because Dillon Gabriel needs to throw with a certain timing to be efficient and effective. That's what the anticipation, the timing, all this comes into play. He has to play this way to be effective. Tonight or today, Dillon Gabriel was definitely put in a better position to succeed. If this is a freaking competition, I'm not even sure if this is a competition. Maybe because Dillon Gabriel's a third round and the politics take over. Maybe they already gave him the job, the backup job, or the third string, whatever you want to call it, right? Talk to me, chat. Make sure y'all like this live, man. Make sure y'all share. Tear that like button up, man. Y'all smash that like button. We grinding, baby. Now, when Shedeur entered the game, now y'all listening closely, because I need y'all to understand. I talked about this in the past. Y'all listen very closely to me, right? When Shedeur Sanders entered the game, the offensive coordinator must have went to sleep or something. Straight up like that. I don't know what happened, what was going on. Or the receiver coach took over the play calls for the first time in his career. Because things changed. Things changed for the offense when Shedeur Sanders came into that game. All of a sudden, when Shedeur enters the game, the Browns are a pass-first team, run second. The Cleveland Browns never been a pass-first team, run second. I sure didn't like the sequence of play calling when Shedeur Sanders entered the game. Pass first, run second. That is never the Cleveland Browns motto. And to me, that play calling was done intentionally. I said, watch out for unusual play calling when Shedeur is playing. I said that a couple of weeks ago when he played his first preseason game. And boom, the last game of the preseason, I see questionable play calls. Maybe this is the competition they was waiting for so they can handle this hot like they wanted to handle it. Get enough from Dillon Gabriel and then whatever, man, whatever. Now, when it's just plain and simple, when Shedeur entered the game, the play calling wasn't the usual Cleveland Browns system. That's just the way I seen it. Shedeur's first play of the game was a pass play. Then they went to a run play. Then it was a pass play. But the positive things about it in that first series, Shedeur Sanders didn't produce anything, but what was good in that series, he didn't produce any negative plays. Right? He didn't produce any negative plays. Then he went out there. I mean, they went 3 and out. And then it was 3 and out, 2 passes and 1 run, like I said. In the second series, 2 passes and 1 run, 3 and out again. This is not the Browns system. This is not typical of the Browns. And then we all know it was kind of downhill from there. Then I'm thinking he has to get a chance to run this 2-minute drill, right? I'm waiting to see Shedeur Sanders get back out there and get a chance to run this 2-minute drill. He has to get fair play calling, and they have to call plays correctly in this 2-minute drill. There's no way to sabotage this 2-minute drill. Then boom, he's snatched out of the game. What logical reason can Kevin Stefanski have for snatching Shedeur Sanders out of the game for the 2-minute drill to put a young man that they just signed from off the streets into the 2-minute drill that you 9 times out of 10 probably don't have any chance of him making the team? I was also waiting to see how Dillon Gabriel respond coming back from halftime, but he was snatched. And Shedeur was put in with the bogus players and play calls. Why was Shedeur Sanders snatched out of the 2-minute drill, and why didn't Dillon Gabriel come back in the game in the third quarter to see how he handles bouncing back, making adjustments from halftime? That's very important. That's very important. And what's so funny about this is even Shedeur Sanders understands why he didn't get to run the 2-minute drill. Shedeur Sanders didn't understand why he didn't get a chance to run the 2-minute drill. After going through all of those struggles and trying to catch a rhythm and trying to produce, you're looking for that last opportunity and it's snatched away from you. And listen to his voice. Hear him speak. You're going to hear it.
Yeah, I didn't know I was out. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I was on the bike. I was powering up. I was powering up for that 2-minute drive because, that's just a situation every quarterback dreams for. That's many situations I've been in before, and I thought I was in. So then he told me I wasn't in, and I was like, okay.
He said a 2-minute drill is a situation every quarterback dreams of. Going out and executing, leading your team down for a touchdown. Every quarterback dreams of that, and he was snatched of that opportunity. In the last preseason game, we don't have a clue when Shedeur Sanders is going to get on the field again, and he was snatched of that opportunity in the last game. Now, there are so many things that wasn't handled right during this preseason, this draft and all that, but that right there is one of the worst things that you can do to an athlete who is trying to build his confidence and trying to find himself. You understand? If you care about that athlete. Now, for anybody that thinks out there who is against Shedeur Sanders and love Dillon Gabriel, or love Dillon Gabriel and against the Shedeur Sanders, if anyone thinks out there that this was a fair evaluation of Shedeur Sanders, you are absolutely crazy. What's fair and what we do know and what we did see, it's clear when Shedeur Sanders is on the field in the correct circumstances, his capabilities and abilities are first string abilities. And he has the capabilities to be a superstar, a franchise quarterback. Now, if there's something to criticize about that game today from Shedeur, is that he needs to learn when the offensive line unit he is playing with can't block worth a damn. And yeah, he needs to learn how to step up in the pocket sometimes, you know, and not roll out of the pocket. But he has to understand when the offensive line unit he's playing with ain't going to be able to block a damn. That's very important. Shedeur, man, played most of his life as a starter, you know, from Jaxon State to the Colorados and things like that. Never really had to deal with competition, right? So it's something new to him, and it's something very difficult dealing with that. It's something because you never had to deal with it before in your life. Now, you know, this only the strong survive. He's going to bounce back. He's going to remain tough, humble, and he's going to keep fighting. That's who he is, you know? He was raised like that. Now, Dillon Gabriel. Everyone is saying Dillon Gabriel showed enough to be a backup quarterback, right? That's the word on the streets. Dillon Gabriel showed enough to be a backup quarterback, and I agree. But that's not the question. The question is, can Dillon Gabriel be a starter? Because this backup, whoever plays backup on this team is going to have to play. And I don't know about, is Dillon Gabriel ready to be a starter? Yes, he can do some good things out there. When the going gets tough and it's time to win games, that's what I'm worried about with Dillon Gabriel. I watched Dillon Gabriel play a lot. And he looks like he's running the same offense he did when he was at Oregon, University of Oregon, Oregon Ducks. But the good thing about this is General Manager Andrew Berry said he doesn't see no problem keeping 4 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster. At halftime during the broadcast for the game, he said that. So be prepared, man, for the Cleveland Browns to keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster. The odd man out is still Kenny Pickett in my eyes. Odd man out is still Kenny Pickett in my eyes. So, you know, Shedeur Sanders, big ups to Shedeur. If you see this out here, man, keep your head up. You know, don't change. Continue to be who you are. You know, stay close to your family. You know who love you. You know who's there for you, genuinely, right? Don't get caught up in all the hoopla and things like that. Stay grinding. Continue to stay after practice. Continue to get there, be the first person on the field. Don't change none of that. Continue to work hard. And good things come to those who work hard, for sure. Now, I have some interesting news, and I want y'all to understand what has been going on in my career in some deep details. And they're finally coming to light. And I've been waiting for people to tell these stories because there's so many stories you can learn from and learn what the things that I went through to make it and achieve my greatness, right? One of my defensive coordinators in New England, my first two or three seasons, was a man by the name of Romeo Crennel. We call him Coach Rat. One of the best coaches and one of my favorite coaches I ever played with. And he's also an awesome human being. Hands down, he's just an awesome human being overall. Coach Rack later became the head coach for the Houston Texans, right? Coach fought hard for me behind the scenes to give me an opportunity to start for the Patriots. Without him, I probably never achieved my greatness, right? Now, the predicament Coach Rack was in forced him to have to play both sides to get me to the finish line as a starter for the New England Patriots. Now, I want y'all to listen to this. Coach Romeo Cornell, listen closely and read between the lines and see what you can figure out.
If you have a guy that's having a hard time, remember those things. What do you do? How do you get him up to speed, Coach? What do you know?
I'm gonna tell you this one incident. Asante Samuel.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
When he came to us, he was, a pretty good corner coming out. And so what we talked to him about we wanted to do is we wanted him to play inside technique so that we could take away the inside route and make them throw the ball outside. All right. Mm-hmm. He had a little issue with doing that. And so in talking with him, he said, Coach, I can't see the quarterback. I said, well, look, we're trying to play this technique because we want to protect the post. And if you can take away the inside release, they're not running the post. Okay. He said, but if I could see the quarterback, I could help you more. And he was pretty adamant about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, look, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'll let you play outside technique. But if you get bit on the post, then you're going to go back and play inside technique. Well, he started playing outside technique, and he started intercepting the balls that they were throwing inside to try to get to the post, okay? Yeah. And so I said, hey, as long as we can keep that done, that'll work. And so he became, not that he wasn't a good corner, but he became a better corner because he started making plays on the ball because he could see the quarterback. Now, there would be some guys who wouldn't even think about letting him work on that or try that, okay? Because they are set in stone. But I've got a guy who's got some ability, and he's saying, I can't see the quarterback. I need to be able to see the quarterback. And so let's try it. We didn't write it in stone that it was going to be that way all the time. Let's try it. So we tried it, and he became a pretty good corner, intercepting balls and all of those things. And so that's what you have to do.
So I want to know what y'all thought about that and tell me. Y'all have to read between the lines and understand what he says, right? And Coach says, a lot of guys, a lot of coaches are set in stone. They wouldn't let him try or do what he thought he can do. And that was me, play outside and still be able to go get the ball inside. You understand? Read between the lines of what he's saying. A lot of guys, a lot of coaches wouldn't have let him do that. Even though I was showing that I can do these things in practice. This is what I had to deal with playing for the Patriots. The moment I knew Romeo Cornell believed in me was during the scrimmage, and I was covering one of the fastest players in the NFL on the team at the time, right? He was the fastest on the team and one of the fastest in the NFL. His name was David Patton. Rest in peace, DP. Rest in peace, DP, man. David Patton. I think he had a motorcycle accident, right? I was in cover 4, right? And DP took me on a post across the field. Way across the field from one hash to the other, on top of the free safeties. It was just me and him and the football. Brady threw that thing up there. He launched it. Perfect throw. We running stride for stride. I ran stride for stride with DP all the way across the football field. It's like a track meet. And I broke the ball up, broke the pass up. I felt good. I knew it was an awesome play. I knew it was a great play. But of course, Belichick had the energy around the facilities and the team and the building, never to praise Asante or to make him feel good about anything, right? Just always harp on him and talk bad to him, make him feel like, he's not doing something right or doing anything right. But when it came time to watch film, and that play came up, Coach Romeo Cornell, Coach Rack made sure he knew that I understood that I can be a great cornerback in the NFL. He paused the meeting to point me out to the team and explain why this play was such a great play by Asante Samuel against one of the fastest players in the NFL. After that day, man, my confidence grew like crazy. I knew somebody had my back, and that's what you need sometimes. Someone that understands your trials and tribulations, but they understand you belong. And that's what happened for me with Coach Rack. And I'm glad, man. I am super glad. Thank you, Coach Rack, Coach Romeo Cornell. Boom! I'm so glad Coach Rack made it his point to tell this story about me, because there are so many stories that the world needs to hear, man. Y'all need to hear these stories. I'm so thankful Coach Rack came out and told this story, because there's so many stories, man. Now, being that my career started with the Patriots, you didn't hear many stories or interesting stories that the world would have loved to have heard about myself and other teammates, in my career. Because there's a lot of things that went on. And, intercepting 50 passes and breaking records and things like that, there's a lot going on. A lot should be talked about. Now, hopefully more and more people like Coach Belichick, hopefully, Tom Brady or someone, they start coming out and telling more and more stories. And I'm the one that challenged Coach Belichick to win without Brady. So I know that have many people feeling a certain way. So if that, that never comes out, it's because of that. But shout out to the chat, man. Make sure y'all tear that like button out up. Oh, man, what it says, Through the Fire podcast says, blank the NFL and the Browns. They're playing in our face like we don't know what it is. Shedeur having to practice with equipment guys is diabolical. NFL hates Shedeur as a father with faith and ethics. There's a lot of things the NFL. Appreciate that super chat, man. Y'all know we up here grinding and keep them blessings coming through. This all blessings. I use this. We could keep growing the channel. Get me a drink, some lunch or something, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just unfortunate with Shedeur and how they try to make this situation be with his father and the Sanders family and things like that. And yeah, man, it's blatant to everyone. And it's just sad. It's just sad, man. But Shedeur Sanders, we got to continue to keep supporting him, keep him lifted in our prayers. Hopefully he bounces back and feel better. But the circumstances and the way they put him in the game with the opportunities, we all can see that this was a bunch of foolishness, and he was not set up to succeed. I can tell you that. That is 100% for sure. Now we got one of the haters popping up and say what needs to be said. We got to talk about one of these haters. Or is he hating? Y'all let me know, because I always say there's an old saying that says there's a lot of truth in jokes. And we're talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick. If y'all don't know, the broadcaster, commentator, I think he works for Fox, the Fox network, and does Sunday night games or Monday night games, something like that, right? And Ryan Fitzpatrick had football fans in a frenzy with his misinterpreted mock analysis on Jaxon Dart, right? So he did a mock analysis on Jaxon Dart. And I'm not quite understanding what was the purpose of Ryan Fitzpatrick making this gesture about Jaxon Dart, right? Somehow he got caught because his mic was hot and it mistakenly aired to the viewers. Someone caught it and put it on blast. But to me, the timing of these mistakes are questionable, if you ask me. because how these things are set up and exposed sometimes to me just doesn't come off too genuine. But let's get into the clip. Oh, I forgot the clip. Where's the clip? 1 second, 1 second. Oh man, I missed my clip. Where is my clip at? Oh, I know where it's at. Here we go. Drop the ball on this or drop the ball. Here we go. We just here. Y'all ready? Oh, I can't play it. My bad. I know why I can't play it. Had too much music in the background, right? And I didn't want to mess up the channel. So they played the clip, right? And, you know, Ryan Fitzpatrick was asked to do a mock analysis acting like he was Jake from State Farm on Jaxon Dart. And he said, I like his moxie. He has a lot of intelligence in the game, but I don't like his throwing motion. He has a long windup. His releases is not good. And Giants fans basically should not be happy about the future with Jaxon Dart, basically, right? And he was supposedly doing a mock analysis that he was asked to do from his co-host. Now, like I'm saying, there's an old saying, and I'll probably I'll put the clip in there somewhere. We'll see it later on. Now, there's an old saying there that there's a lot of truth in jokes, like I said. Now, for me, Ryan Fitzpatrick was asked to give this mock perspective of Jake from State Farm, right? He was asked to do this. But I still don't understand. And it still doesn't resonate with me well. Was it a joke? Was it some truth? Or was someone clout chasing? He was asked to do this mock analysis and he did. And the mic was hot and people were not happy because how it was supposedly taken out of context. But to me, I find it funny that Ryan Fitzpatrick chose to take shots at Dart's mechanics in a joking way when you should just be evaluating Dart's performance and not the technical flaws. You know? That's what I didn't understand. It was Jaxon Dart is playing lights out. He didn't play a bad game yet in his first two preseason games, but Ryan Fitzpatrick found something negative to say in a joking manner when it wasn't supposed to be live, and somehow everyone heard it. I don't understand. And the sternness in Fitzpatrick's voice, to me, was giving me hater vibes. I'm just telling you. It was giving me hater vibes, even though it was perceived and supposed to be a joke, a mock analysis. I ain't going for it, though. Like I said, we haven't seen one bad game from Dart yet, or even consecutive bad plays where he looked bad. So where's all this coming from? Jaxon Dart is just a rookie playing his butt off. Ryan Fitzpatrick decides to tell the world, this is exactly what he said. Ryan Fitzpatrick, meaning he doesn't like Jaxon Dart's release. And Giant fans shouldn't be excited at all. Okay, I remembered. I finally remembered. Ryan Fitzpatrick said he doesn't like Jaxon Dart's release, and Giants fans shouldn't be excited at all about the future, I guess. Like I said, somebody knew these comments was going to have people talking and more people looking to tune in or whatever, wherever Ryan Fitzpatrick made this comment at. And I'm sure he did his job. He did a great job. But where did Jake from State Farm come into play in this whole conversation that made it necessary? I'm still lost. And y'all help me out in the chat because I'm still lost. You know what I mean? And I try not to compare ex-players to current players that they are criticizing, but I can't help myself on this one, you know, because I study quarterbacks and I like to watch quarterback releases and things like that. Now, we're about to take a look at Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing motion and critique his throwing motion to see if he has a quick release or his mechanics are A+, you know, or even A-. But let's check it out. Start off with a little warm up. This is when he was about 40 years old as well. All right, here we go. We getting to it right here. Ooh, long wind up. Look at this long wind up. Here go the better angle. I want y'all to see that. I'm going slow motion for y'all. Drop the ball all the way to his hip. Bring it back, and then throws the ball. Let's watch it in fast motion. Oh, I'm jumping all over that. Interception. Look at that long wind-up throw. This is a long wind-up. Kind of like Joe Flacco. Can y'all see that? Long wind-up throw. But he wants to criticize Jaxon Dart's release. Man, a lot of people be hypocrites out here, man. That's the way life is, man. You can say whatever you want to say and be a hypocrite, and people won't care. You know? Now, after watching this Ryan Fitzpatrick video of him throwing the ball, what do you have to say about his throwing motion and him critiquing other players throwing motion and release? Is that okay for him to do? Should he be doing that? Because Jaxon Dart is effective with his throwing motion. And he's getting the job done. And he's just a rookie. Now, of course, Ryan Fitzpatrick tried to save face by going to social media to try to justify his comments that he didn't go over too well with everyone, you know, and that he didn't expect everyone to hear. So he tried to come to social media, of course, like everyone does. They put the cleats on and start doing the back pedal a little bit. And to me, man, he was having a genuine conversation with the co-host expressing how he felt in a joking manner. And like you said, there's a lot of truth in jokes. And that was a genuine conversation to me. Fitzpatrick never said he didn't mean what he said he didn't like in Jaxon Dart release or throwing motion. He basically stated the obvious that Jaxon Dart looks good, etc. But here is Ryan Fitzpatrick comments, him trying to backpedal after taking shots at Jaxon Dart. Let me read this from my phone. So after feeling the backlash of going after Jaxon Dart, you know, New York media don't play that. So the Giants, you know, it was coming for his throat. And he quickly had to jump on social media and, you know, do some damage control because the stuff was going viral and it was making him look bad. So he jumps on social media and said, "Oh my goodness," said Fitzpatrick later on Thursday pregame broadcast, which he shared a clip posted on X to clear up the speculation about his earlier practice response to Thompson. He's intelligent. He got the arm strength, but it's the moxie. It's the way he carries himself. And you see it even in the way he played in the preseason. the arm angles, the swagger, I think guys really resonate and are drawn to a guy like that. He has the pedigree from playing a lot of snaps in college. Really excited to see when he gets out there this season. Now, like I said, when did he ever correct his statements of what he said about Jaxon Dark, about his release, and so on and so forth, about the Giants fans have nothing to look forward to? He never corrected his statement. So in my eyes, like I said, there's a lot of truth in these jokes, and I think he meant what he said in a joking way. He used Jake from State Farm, to be able to say what he wanted to say. But yeah, man, how y'all feel about tonight and the preseason finale? Man, y'all let's just talk, man. Let's have a Q&A, man, and just chop it up a little bit. Because it's time to vent. How do we feel about the Browns, the quarterback situation? I'm totally confused with Kenny Pickett. Is he going to make the 53-man roster and be on the team with the other 4 quarterbacks? Kevin Stefanski sounds like he's just elated and has a thing for Kenny Pickett. But I don't know, man. Saturday night vibes. He said they're probably going to waive Kenny Pickett. Oh, will they waive Kenny Pickett? It's a strong possibility. But I think at the same time, they're feeling like Kenny Pickett's an asset. They may want to hold him until the trade deadline so they could possibly trade him and get some picks for him. But how they would trade him with no film, not even playing in the preseason, a hamstring injury that's possibly still hindering Kenny Pickett. Only thing I can see is them putting him on the injured reserve list, like I said in the past. One of these quarterbacks will end up on an injured reserve list. But tonight, man, today was just so disappointing to a lot of Shedeur Sanders fans and supporters. We expected, so much more and such a better opportunity for Shedeur Sanders. And tonight we was robbed of that. And I think he was also robbed of that, based on, how they handled the situation tonight, putting them out there in the pass first categories or a pass first system that isn't normally the system that the Browns run. And that's the truth, man. Right? And I can nitpick at the little things to prove my point, but where would that get us? It's like we want him to move forward. We want him to get his opportunity, do good, and show the world that he belongs. But when he goes out there, the first play of the preseason, the first play of the game, the last in the preseason finale, in the third quarter, and he lines up in shotgun, and the first pass is a pass play. No one gets any separation. It's like, man, are they really trying to set him up to fail? Is this a real sabotage type deal right here? And it's hard to say it isn't, right? Because we know who Shedeur Sanders is and his capabilities and what he's shown us in the past, playing for Colorado, the first preseason game he started in, and so forth. And I can't lie to you. A lot of people in the NFL don't get fair opportunities because there are 5th-round picks and 6th-round picks, and that's just the nature of the game and the politics. You don't usually get a fair opportunity. So when your opportunity comes, you have to make the best of it. But that isn't who Shedeur Sanders is. We already know his capabilities, and we know that he's not supposed to be or have that 5th-round draft pick title on his jacket. But it is what it is, right? And now you treat him like a 5th rounder today and put him in their 3rd string with players that probably won't make the team, and he looks like what you drafted him, when he's not supposed to look like that, because we've already seen when you put Shedeur Sanders in the game with the starters, with the more caliber players, that he's going to excel. He will do well. No one blocked out there, specifically the left tackle. And everybody understands and knows when you're at quarterback, if your tackles can't block, them defensive ends going to be screaming down your throat. down the quarterback's throat. And that's what was happening to him. He was trying to step up, trying to do anything to make a play, but there's only so much you can do against these high-power athletes, all in the NFL. Everybody is a super athlete, right? This is not college. There's only so much you can do. There's only so many times you're going to be able to get away. And then when you get away, someone going to be open to pass the ball to, right? And I hate that, Shedeur Sanders had to end his preseason on this note, but I hope another opportunity comes in the regular season in the future somehow, some way. Whether the Browns trade him or not, I don't know if that's a good idea. You just got to continue to keep grinding, keep praying, and keep God first. That's what he got to do. That's what he has to do. And I'm sure he understands that. But you could hear it in his voice, man, that he was hurt. He expected a lot more out of himself. And he felt he let himself down. And he wanted to get back out there to try to redeem himself, and he couldn't. I think that was the worst part of everything that happened to Shedeur Sanders tonight. He didn't get an opportunity to go out there, redeem himself. And in my opinion, he was not set up to succeed because the Browns run the ball first to open up the pass game. The quick, fast passing game comes off the run plays, And I think Kevin Stefanski, he wants to run a boring offense. Some don't not have an exciting quarterback. I don't know why they signed Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun Watson is obviously an exciting quarterback. So I don't understand this whole concept of he wants a boring offense. And I understand time possession. You want to control the ball. You want to get 1 and 2 or 3 yards here, 2 and 3 and 4 yards here, and the time of possession, winning time possession along with the turnover battle, right? And that's what it looked like when Dillon Gabriel was in the game. And that's easy to say and do during the preseason because defense didn't put in that many defensive schemes. You don't have many blitzes coming at you left and right. So you can pretty much do what you want to do, make that happen. But when teams start scouting you and calling the defensive plays against those offensive plays that they know that are your favorite plays and your go-to plays, how do you handle that? How do you maneuver from the quick time and rhythm passing, as we're talking about with Dillon Gabriel, to, all right, I have to adjust. I have to make a play. I have to figure something else out, and I can't be just getting the ball out quick, right? Because that will come into play. That's just how it goes, the nature of the game. Nothing goes perfect. This is the NFL. This is why they're playmakers, and then there's just players. There's a difference. Playmakers figure out ways to make plays to achieve greatness, And Deshaun Watson, what does he come into play in this whole situation? By 6-7 weeks, he'll be off the injured reserve. Will they give him an opportunity to go out there and redeem himself and still say, all right, he's the starter. He's making a lot of money. That's the politics of the game. Why wouldn't they? I mean, I hear the owner and things and make comments and say they swung and missed, but he's still on the payroll. He's still a part of that team getting guaranteed money. Why wouldn't they want to see him go out there and succeed, right? So everything is just convoluted over here with the freaking Cleveland Browns. It's just all over the place, man. And I don't know, man. And it's crazy because it has been a quarterback holding this team back for decades. Since Mal Garrett's been there, since coach, the defensive coordinator Schwartz been there, they play really good ball on defense. And they always kind of have a chance. Being in that division, the division is tough. You got the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right? And they still find a way to make it to the playoffs or have a good record and so on and so forth. So the team is good, man. They just need that quarterback to get them over the hump. And I think investing and continuing trying to go with a 40-year-old quarterback who, isn't in his prime, clearly, he was pretty, maybe average quarterback in his career, maybe a little above average. he's not going to give you anything special. He can just get the job done. And getting the job done only lasts for so long. That's just the way it is in the NFL. You have to learn how to make things happen. Because those little plays these coaches are coming up with left and right, they don't always work. So what do? Like you've seen with me and my Coach Romeo Cornell. They want me to play a certain technique, a certain coverage. I know it doesn't work. Maybe it worked in their eyes on paper. But at the end of the day, I'm the person out there have to get the job done, get my hands on the ball. So I have to understand how I make sure I get that done. And that's the name of the game. Right? Yeah, man. Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. Who won the battle? I don't think it was fair, obviously. Who won the battle? Another issue I see with Dillon Gabriel that Shedeur Sanders took care of in the first preseason game. Another issue I see with Dillon Gabriel is him being able to score touchdowns, get the ball to the end zone, right? Yeah, he threw one touchdown in 2 preseason games. He had a lot of plays, right? Not too many pass plays over 20 yards. I think it was one pass play on a 7 route. He threw to the 2-yard line, like I mentioned earlier. Right? If you have a hard time completing passes 20 yards plus in the NFL, it's going to be very hard for you to be successful. You're going to really box the offensive coordinator in. If playing a quarterback that can run the system, you feel good with running the system and things like that, but he's lacking arm strength. So my plays over 20 yards, I'm limited to the plays that I can call. All these things cause an issue as a quarterback. And I think what I said, the statement about, everyone sees that Dillon Gabriel is good enough to be a backup quarterback. I think this is a strong statement. That isn't really the question. Because backup quarterbacks can come a dime dozen. Backup quarterbacks, but a really good backup quarterback, can this backup quarterback be a starter in the NFL? I think that's the question they need to ask for Dillon Gabriel. Yes, he can be a backup, but can he be a starter? And like I say, he looked good. A lot of soft coverages today. He knows how to find those quick routes that's underneath, intermediate routes. That's his game. As soon as you get out of that intermediate game, how does he continue to succeed? And I think that's something he have to figure out. He probably will figure out. But the one thing I can say about Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns drafting Dillon Gabriel is they understood who they was drafting and how he would fit directly in their offense and how they're going to use him. They're going to get the ball out quick, give him short, quick timing routes to possess the ball longer than the other team, right? But they're not looking at the touchdowns and getting the ball into the red zone. And I think that will be an issue as I continue to see, he did good. He did good. He did some good things. He did some questionable things. Shedeur Sanders is just a sad day for him. And it's going to be times like that. But that shouldn't have been a day like today for Shedeur Sanders, because of the circumstances. That's why it ended up like that. Keep working. Shedeur Sanders, he is. And I'm gonna see y'all Monday, man. Y'all let me know, y'all let me know what y'all want to talk about on Monday. Y'all hit me up in the chats, hit me up in the comments, drop me an email, zunt22@yahoo.com. Make sure y'all like the live, man. Tear that like button up, man. Y'all got to spread the word. We're trying to get to 100K subscribers. And I can't do it without y'all. And I appreciate y'all's support. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to stay faithful to y'all. Y'all stay faithful to me, man. And y'all keep showing up. I'm going to keep showing up and showing out. I'm going to give y'all detailed analysis of everything I see that's going on. The things that people don't like to say. And one thing I probably will talk about Monday is if y'all ain't heard Boomer Esiason, he calls out the Cincinnati Bengals Ring of Honor. He was named in the Ring of Honor. But he had some things to say about the Bengals because he was told he had to pay for everything. Now, where did we find out first that you have to pay for everything, including the Hall of Fame? Where did we find that out first? Where did the world find that out first? On Say What Needs to Be Said from Coach Prime. Now you see Boomer Esiason and everybody, so they feel good. Everybody feel good letting it be known that the NFL don't take care of these things for us. And it's not right. They should. But that's what we're here for. Say what needs to be said, because we're going to expose these things. And, we're going to set the trends and people going to follow. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Tear that like button up. Make sure y'all leave a comment. I appreciate y'all in the comments, man. The chat, man. We jumping. We doing our thing. And, yeah, man. I'm going to sleep on this one tonight, man. I'm going to have a lot to think about. Let this digest. I know Coach Prime, man. I know he's going through it. But another note for Coach Prime, man. Coach Prime has a big chance to win the Big 12. If y'all didn't see today, Iowa State versus Kansas State, man. They played a good game. Two of the top teams in the Big 12. Kansas State, I think they defeated Coach Prime last season. I think they defeated Coach Prime. But they I can't remember how it went. But right now, Iowa State is number one. They beat Kansas State. So Coach Prime coming up. Colorado Buffaloes play Georgia Tech coming up. And we're going to be supporting that game. We have a lot to talk about. And hope Coach Prime is going to take care of business. And we need Colorado to win this Big 12, Come first in the Big 12. So shout out to Coach Prime. Shout out to Shedeur Sanders. Oh, and Shiloh Sanders. I forgot to talk about my brother Shiloh Sanders, man. Hey, Coach Prime tell you, man, you got that one, that one kid in the family that you got to watch and you got to treat with, with patience and grace and things like that. And Shiloh Sanders, man, he seems like he's that kid, man. He's that one that you love, but that one that keeps you frustrated, And if y'all didn't know or see, man, he was playing special teams. And, you got to play to the whistle. That's what they teach you in NFL, especially when you're trying to make the team in the special team. So, we're smaller. The defensive guys, DBs, we're the smaller guys, right? And it was a big, I think it was a tight end, linebacker, or some guy 2 times his size. He got a hold of him. He was blocking him a little bit past the whistle. You fighting back. You can't really hear. You're just fighting back, and guy getting the best of him. Then the guy finally let up, and boom, Shiloh's a fighter, man. If you can't see, he's a fighter. And boom, he swung. The last person to swing and usually get caught. And then Shiloh got kicked out of the game, man. And another person, man, he's fighting hard up there, trying to make the 53-man roster. I think he's doing some good things. Coach Todd Bowles had great things to say about him, but it was just it was a day for the Sanders family, It was a day for a lot of people, but obviously their name holds a lot of weight, and a lot of people support them, and along with try to criticize them and monetize the whole name, the Sanders family, and things like that. So, shout out to them boys, man. I hope everything happens that they wish to happen, And say what needs to be said, man. Pray for the family. Pray for Coach Prime. Hope Coach Prime doing good, and he's continue to get better and better. And hope he's coaching the kids good and continue to make more stars up there in Cleveland. Because Coach Prime job is not done, and he'll tell you that, man. So appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight, man. And it was Saturday Night Vibes. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, and I'll see y'all Monday.